I've literally seen some borderline miraculous stuff. I mean, in the process of watching someone who had been paralyzed for 4 years as a complication of a Lyme disease tick bite, who is now working with physical therapy, learning to walk again. You know,
Wow.
uh, different miraculous type of cancer results. It seems to really benefit the autoimmune diseases. So people are diseases such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and the genetic diseases. I mean, I think that we're probably looking at IV stem cell therapy to be quickly incorporated into the whole country.
Hey, everybody, this is Adam Payne. We're here at Ultra Life today, continuing our discussion with Dr. Douglas Rowles, the owner and of Revive Stem Cell and IV Therapy here in Oklahoma City. You can find him at revivestemcell.com. Boy, we've had an interesting discussion up to this point, talking about his career in the Navy as an orthopedic surgeon and doctor, coming to his own health, not crisis, but situation where a tendon in his arm was starting to unravel, was scheduled for surgery to get it all repaired, and it happened right on the cusp of COVID hitting our country and all elective surgeries being canceled. He tried something his wife was recommending, collagen and turmeric, which turmeric is a root from the plant Curcuma longa, and in the turmeric root there is a compound or compounds called curcumin or curcuminoids, and we know a lot about curcumin here at Ultra Botanica, but this very simple yet effective approach in doing dosing oneself with collagen and turmeric was having amazing impact on himself and almost 95% of the patients that he challenged to try this approach. So then we talked a little bit last week about stem cell therapy, kind of the secret weapon in helping our bodies to heal. Welcome back, Dr. Rowles. How are you doing today?
Very well. How are you?
God, we're doing good. It's I think we're surviving through the month of August here in Oklahoma. Are you from Oklahoma originally?
I'm not. I'm from Rhode Island.
How- I'm in New England. I'm from the Boston area, so if you get me back in my home turf,
There you
I'll
go.
be talking like this. Um, how did you get to Oklahoma City?
I married a woman from Oklahoma.
Oh, there you go.
You get out of the Navy, I don't care where I live anymore.
That's true. You've already seen the world, and I guess you had enough of the sea too, because it's quite a drive to get to the sea from here.
I made a big mistake. I joined the Navy specifically because the medical school I went to, they literally on a phone call said, "Hey, you want Air Force, Army, or Navy?" Like literally a phone call.
Really?
Yeah, well, I wanted Navy because I love the water. Well, you know what I learned?
What?
The Navy takes care of Marines. You know where the Marines are? They're in the desert. So I spent a couple nice long vacations in the desert. Really, really
Are they
interesting.
really vacations or were they assignments, right?
Deployment type vacation.
Yeah. There have been a couple of those of recent history, haven't there?
Oh yeah.
So we're coming back to kind of a paradigm that I like to talk about, which is we have to stop looking at our bodies like a some sort of contraption that we don't understand what's going on, um, and we get baffled by different diseases and conditions that smite us as we age and go on in years. But in reality, I like to look at the human body as essentially a community of 13 or so trillion cells that are trying to live, that need to live together in harmony in order to provide um, what everything we need in order to flourish, to live, to breathe, to connect with people around us, to have those relationships, to make meaning out of our own lives. it's endlessly surprising to me when we get into the meat and bones of different protocols, like what you did with turmeric and collagen, is that why should we be surprised that something so elegant and simple can have such a dramatic effect on our wellness? I mean, literally, what we're doing or what you were doing was saying, we want to repair a tendon. I guess we need to provide the body with the building blocks for a tendon, right?
Correct.
Those peptides and amino acids that specifically are necessary in order to make tendon material. It turns out our bodies don't carry a lot of excess building material. I was talking to Dr. Rowles before we started over an hour ago on our first interview that the level of amino acids in an adult is 10 to 20 times lower than what a baby has or a fetus has. So think about it. As a baby's growing, it needs all of these building blocks in order to make new cells, in order to make the stuff that make up the human body. Why is it surprising to us that if we really want to heal, we need to provide our bodies with the stuff it needs in order to heal? Curcumin plays a role because when our body's in attack mode, guess what? It doesn't, it's, you don't see civil engineers on the battlefield. When the tanks and guns are blazing, the civil engineers are back at home waiting for the war to get over so that they can bring in the tractors and the cranes and the dump trucks in order to rebuild the damage that was caused from the war. So it's an elegant solution. I really resonate with everything that you've talked about, Doc. It's amazing to hear this story encapsulated and beautifully illustrated through the results that you've gotten. Those 29 out of 31 patients that just did the simple collagen plus turmeric challenge, 29 out of 31 of them said, you know what? I don't need surgery anymore.
Yeah.
Now, you turbocharge that with stem cell therapy, taking it one step further by saying, hey, yep, not only are we going to give your body the building blocks, but we're going to inject into the tissues all of those civil engineers that are directly responsible for rebuilding and restoring healthy tissue in the human body.
Mhm.
But now we're dealing with, as a culture, a couple of new phenomenon. It's actually not new. It's a result, I believe, of the war crimes cartel that told us that a low-fat diet was what we needed for wellness here in the United States. I think those people that recommended low-fat diets
Mhm.
are responsible for more deaths than the Nazis were responsible for during World War II.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. You can put cholesterol into that category too, the war against cholesterol, which is
That's
actually
ridiculous.
hugely important for us.
We need cholesterol.
Absolutely.
Guess what? Cholesterol is what all of our cell membranes are made out of.
Well, plus our nerves, our hormones, and our brain.
Yeah. What people don't realize is that excess carbohydrates that we take into our body, guess what our body turns them into? Fats.
Yep.
Fats are the result of stored energy that our body is tucking away for that time in the future when maybe you're starving.
Mhm.
And guess what? Here in our American glutinous, gluttonous society, most of us never get into a fasting state. But now we're dealing with insulin resistance as a society and diabetes emerging all over the place. I think you mentioned in the last episode that America has reached a magical threshold. Over 50% of our population is technically obese.
Correct.
I do you even see, doc, any patients that don't have insulin resistance these days?
Well, I mean, I guess in the military, I think I might have, with the, and, I mean, it's a challenge to find them. I will tell you that.
What so t- can you maybe illustrate for us? It's hard enough to heal, especially as we age. I mean, think about it. We don't have the building blocks. Why does insulin resistance add so much complexity to this healing process?
Well, I mean, it delays I mean, literally molecularly, it impedes the healing process. You know, anything that will improve our insulin sensitivity is going to dramatically improve our entire health, as well as our ability to heal injuries and chronic disease.
You know, in I we talk about insulin resistance, but maybe there's a way to explain it so people understand really what's going on with insulin resistance.
Mm. Well, uh, and again, not my specialty, but just from a thousand-yard view, and this
Sure.
way I describe it to people. Uh, our body works on feedback loops, and if you're taking in too much simple carbohydrates, otherwise known as sugar, um, at some point in time, your pancreas is going to start getting out of whack, and you are trying to keep up with insulin production to try and combat all these extra carbohydrates and sugars floating around your body. And it gets to the point where it just won't keep up, and now welcome to, man-made, good old made in the USA type 2 diabetes, you know.
You know, it's essentially if people are getting resistant to insulin, um, what that means is the pancreas is telling the body, hey, you guys need to store more sugar because we got a lot of sugar here.
And,
We need to turn it into fat. And the cells in our body are saying, uh, I don't think so. We don't need more fat. We need something different. So the cells stop absorbing glucose in through their membranes and pulling it into ATP production through the Krebs cycle, which most of us have forgotten about since our high school days. Um, and then we find ourselves in a situation where not only are we our bodies are resistant to an insulin signal coming from the pancreas, but the downstream effects of insulin resistance, more obesity, slower healing, and sluggish metabolism. It really crowds up on people. What is there a solution to this? I mean, we got, I guess, the magical injectable right now, these GLP-1 drugs that can help people. Um, what's your approach? How do you, I mean, it's somebody's coming in with one of these orthopedic problems,
Mhm.
and lo and behold, they're either pre-diabetic or diabetic. Do you have to deal with that aspect of their wellness in order to get them well, or can you ignore the insulin resistance question?
Well, if you ignore it, then your results are not going to be anywhere near as good as they could be. So to maximize the results of your treatment, you have to look at people holistically. And that's not something that we're necessarily taught throughout our medical training. Especially within orthopedics. Your whole body is just a mechanism to make your bones move. So that's
Sure.
all we focus on. But I mean, as part of that quote unquote challenge we've been talking about, I started adding in simple things. And early on, it was with the mindset of trying to help them lose weight because that's going to take pressure off their painful joints and it's going to make everything easier.
But a lot of people with insulin resistance have a huge problem losing weight.
Absolutely. But just these small number of easy lifestyle changes and activities, certain dietary changes that you can make and make a big difference. And I started witnessing people coming back for one of their follow-ups, just in passing, telling me, "Oh, by the way, I don't need insulin anymore." Or, "Hey, my blood sugars are back to normal." A couple months into that process, I kind of woke up. I'm like, what am I doing here? Am I finding a cure for diabetes? But these are just common sense things.
Yeah, diabetes type 2 diagnosis was a terminal disease for people. People didn't technically you're not supposed to be able to recover from type 2 diabetes.
I mean, at this point, I could not disagree with that more. I don't buy that at all. Just based on my own personal eyeballs, what I've seen happen.
So let's doc, do you mind getting into your recipe for success for
Sure,
people that are dealing with diabetes?
absolutely. I think I mentioned in the last podcast, I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting.
Yeah. So what's your protocol for intermittent fasting? I've heard a lot of docs saying, choose an 8-hour window when you're going to eat, and then anything outside of that window is fasting. Is that the approach you recommend, or how
Well,
do you slot people into this?
yeah. Well, first of all, there's not one right answer. I mean,
Okay.
there's lots of different ways to do this. Nowadays, it's pretty simple because you can find hundreds of different free apps right in the App Store on your phone that'll take you through intermittent fasting. I actually did this to myself
Oh, really?
when I left in mid 2019. I kind of left the VA, and I was, compared to my usual, I was vastly overweight. I was hypertensive, probably was pre-diabetic, had the whole collection, high cholesterol.
Wow.
Not that that matters. So I wanted to come up with something myself, just to get healthy again, lose the weight. I went on an intermittent fasting program. And I'm not proud of this. I'm not bragging about this, but I purposely did not do anything else. Like I did not change how I was eating. I did not really consciously exercise.
Wow.
I just did intermittent fasting.
So help me understand what was your intermittent fasting protocol? What did that look like?
So that's a
And
great question. I have, I've kind of helped people avoid a trap, right?
okay, yeah, tell that's
If
please pray
if you
tell.
do the same thing over and over, your metabolism will adjust to that. We see this in the sports world with marathon runners and long distance swimmers.
Okay.
It's not exercise for them because their heart rate never goes up because their body is so well trained to swim or run that it's not exercise, right? So you have to keep yourself off balance with intermittent fasting. What I noticed, and I picked this up right away because the app I was using, every week it changed. It was a little different every week. And intuitively, common sense wise, I understood that. I'm like, you have to keep shocking your system. Otherwise, you're just going to acclimate and it won't be any good. And I started seeing that in patients when I started recommending intermittent fasting. I'd get them, 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, they come back and go, I lost some weight the first week or two, but now I'm just stalled out. So I asked them, like, how you doing it? And they say, oh, I don't eat breakfast, and I have a late lunch every day.
Interesting.
Well, that's not going to help. All that's going to do is going to slow your metabolism down. The key is you got to change it up. I mean, one day it might be a 12-hour fast. You go to 6 hours the second day. You can do an 18-hour fast, and it's not every day. I mean, it's maybe 5 days a week. And like I said, there's no one right answer. There's plans out there where you can literally do like a 48-hour fast once a month. You know,
Really?
and that actually I've seen some anecdotal evidence anyway that that's like a good maintenance program. Like once a month, do a 24-hour fast, or every 2 weeks, or something like that. So there's no one right answer, and you tailor this to what feels comfortable for the person. What I noticed personally, because within 1 year I lost 65 pounds, and
Wow.
blood pressure, cholesterol, and everything was normal at that point. And again, that was not doing the other things that I could have added to it that would have made it much better and quicker. But back to the diabetes, I mean, intermittent
So
fasting.
so you were doing all sorts of different things, but you had chosen kind of a methodology that worked for you better than others. I'm
Uh,
just trying to.
well, with intermittent fasting, I literally just shut my brain off and ate when the phone told me to eat. I mean, I just followed the app. You know
Wow.
and I wanted to see just what only intermittent fasting would do for me.
Right. And so what was your period of time that you were looking for changes again for us?
Well, I was on it at 1 year.
One year.
At the 1 year point, I hit my goal. Yeah.
Loss of 65 pounds.
Yep.
And what else changed in your body? Just
Well, I mean, everything. I slept better, more energy. I was burning, itching to return to exercise.
wow.
Better mood. Relationships improved. I mean, everything gets better. Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, I'm gonna, this is a big admission time for Adam on live on radio. I've been, my functional doctor has been encouraging me and my wife, who's a PA, to start doing intermittent fasting, and I got to admit I've had kind of a I I don't want to do it. I don't.
Well,
But what you're saying is that I'm dealing with an accumulation of my own health issues, and I turned 61 this last summer, and I need a transformation myself personally.
let me tell you, two tips, that I tell everybody about this. One's psychological, the other's
Sure.
physical. The physical tip is real simple. 2 weeks, 14 days, right? It seems to be this magic number in medicine. It takes 2 weeks to reverse a limp permanently. It takes 2 weeks to reset your taste buds,
Hmm.
right? So if, like for me, I did it myself. I'm off processed foods. I've been off processed foods for several years. And this gets into the second tip, as I'll say in a second, but if I were to eat processed food right now, I could literally taste the chemicals because my taste buds are sensitive to that now, right?
Yeah.
So with intermittent fasting, it takes 2 weeks for you to get used to it, and then you're not hungry anymore. Then it becomes easy. So, like I told you, I was on the app and I did the official program for 1 year. I'm still doing it. It's permanent because I'm not hungry anymore. My appetite has been permanently adjusted. So I only eat maybe, like yesterday I only had one meal, and I'm not hungry. I don't get hungry. So that's the way to maintain everything, right? The
Because a lot of us are kind of on this autopilot of, oh, it's lunchtime, gotta have my lunch, or oh, it's breakfast, better eat my breakfast.
what's helpful is to stay busy during the day. So when I was still working at OU, it was easy for me to skip lunch. I just worked through lunch.
Yep.
So it was simple. Things get more challenging when you're at home a lot. So the workaround for that is if you feel like you're hungry in the middle of the day and it's not time to eat yet, then go take a nice long walk. Go do something. Get out.
Distract thyself.
But the
Distract.
psychology is every bit as important. I'm a big believer in a quote unquote cheat meal. Once a week, you can have one meal of anything you want.
Wow.
Now, here's the funny part. Within a month or two, you'll stop doing that because that meal will not taste good anymore because of the taste buds. This is what happened to me, and I've had lots of people come back and after about 6 or 8 months on it, they would kind of say the same stuff, like, "Oh yeah, it became easy." So I understand. I mean, it's not a fun thing to think about doing, but it's actually it's a lot easier than you might think.
And it sounds to me like the health benefits so far outweigh the nuisance of change.
Absolutely. And think about this as a population, as a civilization.
Yep.
How long have we had access to nachos, snacks? What was our diet like 120 years ago?
Oh, nowhere even close to what we have today.
Well, I mean, first of all, the food was probably better for us back then. But that being
Sure.
said, a lot of people didn't know where lunch was going to come from. So I mean, long story short, we almost all of us are overeating constantly now, far more than we need. So intermittent fasting is a way to get back to our natural status, in my mind.
Yeah, and there's having a good functional doc that can coach you along the way. It's because it's not just the lifestyle changes that we're talking about here. It's also the right supplements
Mhm.
that can be that can help us in achieving um, uh, biochemical and hormonal um, health results that are sometimes really difficult without those kinds of interventions. We've talked a lot about curcumin, right? Curcumin being one of those great substances that um, helps to modulate healthy inflammation in the human body. And we need that, especially when we're dealing with chronic inflammation. We need to slow down that process so that the stem cells or the regenerative healing factors can actually come in and make a difference. For insulin resistance, do you have any supplements that you like using?
You know, can I start with the easy stuff first?
Sure.
So intermittent fasting we've been talking about,
Right.
turmeric we talked about. Another little magic silver bullet is apple cider vinegar.
Interesting.
You can take you can take it in many forms nowadays.
Broggs natural apple cider vinegar is one of the things you see on the shelf quite a lot.
Well, you can either drink it, take a shot right before a meal, or you can nowadays you can just take a gummy if you wanted to go that route as well. But
So
that
what's the science behind apple cider vinegar?
well, it's got a lot of benefits. So it slows gastric emptying. It reduces post-meal blood sugar.
Hmm.
Better blood, potentially, one more thing I say, improves insulin sensitivity, aids in better glucose management. I forget the other bullet points. Um, Honestly, it's an appetite suppressant too, which makes sense.
Interesting. So kind of like a GLP-1, if you're slowing gastric emptying, essentially you're the feeling of being full or not needing to eat will last longer.
Correct. And then also supplement that with a meal that's relatively high in fiber.
Oh, interesting.
That's going to be synergistic with the vinegar. Then there's sunlight. Get out again, walk. Walking kills a lot of birds with one stone. Because if it's a nice, beautiful sunny day like it is right now, you get a nice
You
boost of vitamin D.
vitamin D. So what about berberine in your practice? Do you use it at all?
Again, I don't necessarily treat uh, diabetes specifically. I learned about berberine a couple years ago, but again, my patient population was not the type that could necessarily easily afford a lot of different supplements. I now recognize berberine to be one of the go-tos, though. So if you're dealing with somebody with severe diabetes, poorly controlled or having issues with the treatment, that's definitely a go-to.
Yeah, we here at Ultra Botanica, we the same thing we've done with curcumin, binding it to protein or amino acid like N-acetylcysteine. We've done the same thing with berberine. Berberine it's not a polyphenol; it's an isoquinoline, different class of molecule, but it also this protosorb technology works beautifully with berberine. We did a study for people with insulin resistance. We gave people a standardized meal, and then we did one day without berberine, and then the next day with berberine, and looked at their blood sugar over time. And for the people with insulin resistance, 2 hours postprandial blood glucose was below their fasting levels,
Hmm.
showing that that berberine actually can help to overcome insulin resistance at a cellular level, um, supporting all of the different things with intermittent fasting, lifestyle changes, changes in diet, and exercise can really help support the body's recovery from full-blown diabetes into something which what do we call people that don't have diabetes? What, healthy?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Another one is cinnamon too. I don't know if you come across.
Oh, Ceylon cinnamon, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Just a half a teaspoon a day. Yeah.
If you can stomach it. It's that's
Well, you can put if you ration it out, put a little bit in maybe some coffee or
that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Well, we've talked a lot about so many different aspects of wellness, really getting down to the building blocks of how can we can help our bodies to recover, regenerate, especially when we've damaged different tissues, our knees, our rotator cuff in our up in our shoulders. Um, what does the future portend for us, Doc? What is there? Are there things coming around the corner that are going to be as transformative as stem cell therapy?
Well, I've got two answers for that one. The first is stem cells. Right
Right.
now, there's only one state in our country that IV, intravenous stem cell treatment is legal, and that's Utah. And I
Interesting.
actually have hooked up with a group that goes out there once every couple months, and we spend a weekend out there doing these treatments. And I have seen borderline miraculous results. And this is so simple to do. This is just obtaining the stem cells, and
And
then
are these are stem cells from their body?
no, these are donors. These are umbilical derived stem cells
Umbilical stem cells, yeah.
that have been multiplied in a lab. I don't trust me. I don't. That's not my field. I don't know how they do that, but they what they can do though is super concentrate the stem cells so that one drop of fluid has a huge amount in it. But what we're talking about with the IV isn't even starting an IV. It's just taking a needle just right into a vein and just injecting IV push right into a vein. I mean,
Yeah.
it literally takes a minute to do, right? I've literally seen some borderline miraculous stuff. I mean, in the process of watching someone who had been paralyzed for 4 years as a complication of a Lyme disease tick bite, who is now working with physical therapy, learning to walk again. You know,
Wow.
uh, different miraculous type of cancer results. It seems to really benefit the autoimmune diseases. So people are diseases such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and the genetic diseases. I mean, I think that we're probably looking at IV stem cell therapy to be quickly incorporated into the whole country. So I'm hoping and praying for that anyway. And when that happens, I plan to be on board with that in my clinic that I'm doing now. Um,
So yeah, you're set up to do IV interventions at your clinic.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But
The other,
you're doing PRP, but you're not allowed to do IV stem cells to the patients here in Oklahoma.
not legal, only in Utah. Yeah.
Only in Utah.
But the other thing is, I don't know if you follow. I'm kind of geeky like this. I've always been interested in buried technologies. There's over 2,000, no, 20. There's over 20,000 uh, sealed medical patents right now. All right,
Sealed medical what?
medical patents.
Okay.
Right. It's we don't know exactly what they're all about, but I'm betting a lot of them are treatments for cancer. So I'm actually very excited about what the future holds for us because the current administration has come out and openly said that the goal is to declassify and open up all of these patents. So we're talking about new forms of energy, new forms of medical treatments. I mean, God knows what's been buried for a long time. So I'm very excited about what the future holds. I really am.
That's it. This is the first thing I've heard about these, that there are a slew of inventions in the medical space that are about to be revealed. Is there a kind of a date when this is supposedly might be happening?
The sooner the better is all I know.
Mm.
you know, right now I'm just focused more on the stem cell side because, now that I mean, the fact that we have one state doing it, I mean, it doesn't make sense why the other states would slowly start incorporating it as well. You
What's
know,
the Doc? What's the pushback at the legislature level for this kind of intervention?
I'm not sure. The cynical side of me would suggest that maybe the medical industry doesn't want cures for things.
Mm.
That'll hit them in the pocket, right? But it might be multifactorial. I mean, it might be a political issue. It could be a lobbying issue. I don't really understand it, but based on the results we're seeing in Utah, I mean, this is crazy that we're not all doing it everywhere. It really is.
Wow. Well, there you have it. I mean, incredible results with stem cells. You're providing the whole package from uh, regenerating damage in different parts of the body using collagen, the building blocks, and managing inflammation with curcumin, turmeric. You have interventions and approaches for dealing with insulin resistance in the human body, and you're sitting on the cutting edge of where medicine really needs to go with regenerative medicine, with a holistic approach,
Hmm.
where we're not just dealing with, oh, there's you got a torn bumper here in the body, let's just replace the bumper. No, we want to help the body to heal and to find wholeness through its own healing strength and capabilities.
And the
Uh,
body wants to heal. We
the
want to
body
heal.
wants to heal.
Absolutely.
Well, just to wrap up our discussion here today, maybe you can leave us with some advice. If somebody here on the show is dealing with diabetes or just diagnosed with diabetes, type 2, not type 1, what would you like them to know?
That this is not a lifetime condition. This is treatable. Um, some simple things go a long way. Um, Pull out the willpower to start intermittent fasting, make it through that first 2 weeks, change it up every week. You can do it yourself or you can get an app on the phone or whatever, but you got to change it up. Simple things, low impact exercise, at least a couple days a week. You want to do resistance exercise another day or two a week. You want to get as much sunlight as you can get. A minimum 20 to 30 minutes a day would be ideal. You want to drink a lot of water, but do not drink the sugary drinks. Stay away from diet sodas, diet cokes. The chemicals in there is terrible. Try and limit your processed foods. These are all doable things, and most of them are free. You can pick up some apple cider vinegar, or you can buy some apple cider vinegar gummies, and you can pop one of them in once or twice a day before meals. You want to work on getting a good night's sleep, weight control. Everything falls in line. Once you start doing these things, and again, that 2 week period, you make it through the first 2 weeks. Now it's your new lifestyle. It's your new normal.
That's great advice, Doc. For those of our listeners that are interested in connecting with Dr. Rowles, you can reach him at the phone number 405-751-1321, on the website revivestemcell.com. They're located up near Mercy Hospital, across the way there on West Memorial Road. Doc, we thank you for coming on Ultralife today, and it's really been a real pleasure getting to know you and hearing of your life story and getting encouraged by some of the technologies and interventions that you've been able to implement here in Oklahoma. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This has been fun.
Yeah, thanks. We'll talk soon. This has been Ultra Life Today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Adam Payne saying, live your Ultra Life today.